Setting up your very first coal power plant can be daunting and exciting, as it's your first time dealing with fluids, but it also brings the promise of a power plant that you don't have to constantly micromanage. My name is Jeezy, and today I'm going to take you on a tour of the Smokehouse, my one and only coal plant that provided me enough power to get me all the way through Phase 2. This building has undergone numerous facelifts and upgrades, and this is its final iteration. I'll be returning back here later to show you the inner workings of it, but this isn't very helpful if you've just made it to Phase 2 and are looking to start off with a more reasonable plant. For that, we're gonna have to go back in time about 550 hours, when I made it to Phase 2 for the very first time. Long before the building was even known as the Smokehouse, it produced me 1200 megawatts of power. Thankfully, both of the inputs for this factory, coal and water, come from nearby sources, so it's very easy to visualize exactly how this building flows. Over here, 8 water extractors producing 90 water each, for a total of 720, send 270 water to the exterior pipes and 180 water to the middle. Moving over to coal extraction, I have 4 Mark I miners atop 4 normal coal nodes, each spitting out 60 coal, where it's then being merged onto 2 Mark II belts. I wanted to use up all of the available coal here without overclocking, so the water and everything else is just balanced around that. The coal and water get elevated into the front of the building and distributed between 16 coal generators. All 16 of these generators are running at base clock speed and producing a total of 1058 net megawatts. The dependencies take about 141, so keep that in mind if you're doing a similar setup. 2 separate Mark II manifolds run the length of the building and feed the coal generators from above. It's hard to see from up here, so let's go below and take a look at the pipes. The first 6 generators on either side are being fed by those outer pipes carrying 270 water, while the last 4 are being fed by that center pipe carrying 180. This design runs at 100% efficiency all the time. And the only thing I did to get it to do that, in regards to the water, was keeping the distribution pipe elevated above the intakes. And then using the horizontal build mode, snap it from that upper pipeline onto each of the individual generators. But I made sure to leave the building as future-proof as I could make it, as I knew that eventually I was going to need more power and I was going to gain access to better miners, so that means that this wall on the far side was eventually going to get knocked down for production of the Smokehouse Mark II. I gave this building a complete overhaul around the time I got the advanced steel production milestone, as that let me get double the coal out of those nodes outside without requiring any overclocking, and kept my numbers nice and clean. This updated design effectively just mirrored the interior and doubled what was already there. Really, the only difference on the outside is double the number of belts and double the number of pipes, as well as replacing all of the Mark I coal miners with Mark IIs. No overclocking necessary. And all I've done over here is double the amount of water extractors. You can apply the same extraction principles to this water setup as with the Mark I, and I really didn't want to spend too much more time here, as the Mark III is just so much cooler. So without further ado, let's get into that. Starting off over at water extraction, I finally decided to come back and make it look good. On top of that, the water extraction has flip-flopped here a little bit, as the exterior 4 water extractors are now running at 250% overclock, with the inner 8 running at a bit of a weird number of overclock. The main takeaway here is the exterior pipes of both sides are running 565 water through them, with the interior pipes on both branches running a clean 600. Following the pipeline back to the Smokehouse, you'll notice this area looks a bit different. It's kind of been overtaken by my computer factory. That's a subject for another video, so just try and ignore it for now, even though I know it's tough because it kind of just swallowed up the coal extraction. All 4 miners are still in place down here, but 2 of them live down the long liminal hallway that scares me, so I'm just going to focus on these 2. They're all overclocked, however, at the same speed, just shy of 250%, to send a total of 1150 coal up to the Smokehouse. And speaking of getting sent up to the Smokehouse, you might want to look away if you're prone to motion sickness. The building very much does have its old bones, which causes a few problems. We'll get to that in a minute. Coming back to the lobby where this whole video started, The main changes on the inside are numerical and have to do with the intake of water and the overclocking of generators. I initially wanted to have every generator in here overclocked at 250%. Unfortunately, the pipe limitations made that difficult. What I mean by that is a single coal generator clocked at 250 takes 112.5 cubic meters of water. Now that evens out over the 32 generators that I have in this building to a nice clean 3600 cubic meters. However, the generator banks would need to be arranged in a way that would destroy the entire layout of the building. So instead, I just have those exterior pipes which are now carrying 565 water, supplying the first 10 generators of each wing at 250% overclock, and that middle pipe carrying 600, supplying the last 6, clocked at 222%. Unfortunately, the decision to keep the building's identity intact meant that I'm not actually running at maximum efficiency, but it's a negligible difference, and I really like looking at the structure, so I think it's worth the loss of power. I've drawn up a modular plan for each of the different stages of this power plant, with one for the Mark 1, 2, and 3, and an extra one for the Mark 1 that shows it in an exploded view in case that makes it easier for anyone to comprehend. In case you don't know what modular is, suffice it to say that it's a very powerful factory planning tool that you should be aware of. And I have a video on the basic functionality if you're interested. All of the modular files plus a link to that video about modular will be in the description in case you want to check it out. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. I hope that you enjoyed the overview of the Smokehouse and enjoyed going back in time to see its progress from the beginning as much as I did. This was a really cool and unique video to put together, as this opportunity doesn't present itself very often, where I have multiple iterations of the same factory that I have cleanly documented. So let me know what you thought about that and anything else down in the comments below. Additionally, if you enjoyed the video, please do leave it a like, and subscribe if you'd like to see more Satisfactory content. And hit that join button if you want to support my content creation or want some fun emotes of my cat. More videos to come, including more factory tours, and they only get better from here. However, it will take these tours some time to catch up to my current progress, so if you'd like to see what I've been working on lately, I do stream my Satisfactory progress multiple times a week over on Twitch, and I'd love to see you there. But regardless of how you choose to spend the rest of your day, I hope it's an efficient one. And as always, I'm Jeezy, and I'll see you in the next one.